Is there any better place than Kenilworth? You got these beautiful rolling hills, the Mary River winding down there. You've got plenty of camping area there. It's just a marvellous atmosphere, so relaxed.
I heard it described once as a sleepy little town. No, that's not right. It might be a little town, but sleepy it isn't.
We're a small community that had a very interesting history. In 1850, when Richard Joseph Smith took up a lease of land from the New South Wales government, and the selectors came up here in 1891 because the state government realised that they needed farmers to supply food to the tens of thousands of gold miners who came to the gold rushes. The government enabled those selectors to lease for 5 years. During that 5 years, they had to clear a certain percentage of the land and they had to show evidence of having grown crops. 70% of the properties in this area so selected were forfeited because they could not meet those requirements. So those who survived that were very diligent in being self-sufficient.
Going right back to the very early days, they needed to get to Nambour as quickly as they could, so they actually built that Obi Road. So it was a shortcut. So that's the sort of spirit that was there. We had to fend for ourselves. If we wanted something, we had to get up and do it ourselves. And that bonded people. They were interested in the same cause. We got the hall that way, the swimming pool, the library, the village units, all community initiated.
Kenilworth as a whole has pretty much been driven by the community way back when he owned in town, and it all happened, and it's just evolved and stayed that way, and I think we're pretty unique in that regard. The committees that I'm involved in have got some committee members that have been here for 50, 60, some even 70 years and have been involved for that long.
I think we would have more community groups in Kenilworth than anywhere else.
Yes, I helped at the rodeo. I was in Arts Council, I was in CWA till that closed. I'm a member of the Village Units Committee.
I think that's the nature of the town. So I think it's absolutely essential in a small community like us to know and to work together.
This is pure, true country. They'll get in help. In the flood, I was locked out. The water's coming up to here. I made 3 phone calls. And I had 20 odd people here in 10 minutes to move stuff out of the flood. I've got goose people thinking about that.
In 1924, a Nambour business had indicated that they wanted to open a satellite store. Dick Sims Jr. built the shop and the business reneged on their deal. So Dick was left with a building and no tenant. So he coerced the man who was courting his sister Winnie into opening the first general store. It was 1932 the bakery first began in that shop, in the original Tanner's store. In 1924, the community built a hall on the site that the police station now stands. It was in that hall that the first school began.
Well, the hall was very much established when I came here, but we used to go down there on Saturday nights to the pictures. The baker would bring down his pie truck, and at interval you'd go out and buy a pie, and wonderful dance floor. It's got this lovely sprung dance floor, and we had lovely dances and balls.
Now in 1932 they moved the hall from that site to its present site. How they moved the hall, I've not been able to determine. I can only assume that they backed a truck up underneath it, dropped the hall on the back of the truck and drove it round the corner.
It started in 1947, I think. It was mainly a rodeo at that stage.
This year we had about just over 3,000 people. If you're going to have that many people here, you've got to keep them entertained. So you have to have things going on in all directions at all times because one thing doesn't appeal to everybody. You've got a chainsaw and woodshop event area, which has been going for many, many, many years. The main arena holds horse events, And then, of course, the rodeo, which draws people in from everywhere because they seem to get very excited about the bulls bucking around and horses throwing people off and all that sort of crazy stuff.
Each development in the town, each building, someone in the community built it. The Top Cafe was built in the 30s. Arthur Tanner outgrew his first business and built where the Friendly Grocer now stands. 1926, the sawmill was first set up, and that continued to bring employees into the town. So they bought their groceries from the grocery shop, the meat from the butchers, and this is how the town prospered. During World War II, the federal government had built a cheese factory here. It opened, but it never produced any cheese because the local farmers were still loyal to the butter factory and they wouldn't sell whole milk. But Kraft Walker actually appointed one of the Sims brothers, Ern Sims, as the first manager of the cheese factory. And he went around from farm to farm and talked people into supplying whole milk. And it was due to his work that Kraft could actually get up and running.
Then some man in America decided that it would be better to close it. So what the locals did, they got together and they formed a cooperative.
5 of them put their money together and started back up. And they got the business going again. Over the years, of course, the dairy industry's changed a lot. So you've got to change with the world, and we have done that.
Because we've got good people here with good ideas and we're fighters. We'll get up and have a go. And I think we punch above our weight, actually.
It's a beautiful community to live in, and there are people here who really genuinely care about the community, and a lot of them haven't been here that long. I have great hopes that it will continue because of those new people who have come in and just embraced our ethos.